Okay, so for today's recipe, we are going to be making Ethan's red lentil dal recipe. As usual, I will link his video and his recipe below. Now, I don't think I've ever had dal. I know I've had lentils, but I don't really know specifically what dal is, and I don't think I've ever made anything that was called dal. But this seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's got a lot of flavor, I think. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but there's spices that sound good. I am leaving out, he has you use like red chili peppers for heat, or something like that. I don't even have them in the house, but I also don't really love super spicy things, so I am going to leave that out. We're also substituting cumin seeds for cumin, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So we're gonna try that out. I've got all my ingredients lined up on the counter here. You can't see them, but this is a stovetop recipe, which we haven't really done very much of on this channel yet. I'm a little nervous to shoot this by myself. It's gonna be a little tricky. So everything's already measured out, and we're basically just gonna like dump and go, and I will basically probably not see you again until the end of the video when we taste it. So let's go over to the stove and get started. Okay, so the first step is to boil our lentils with the turmeric. I am just adding in boiling water from my electric kettle because it's a lot faster to boil water with this than it is to do it on the stovetop. So we are gonna just add a little bit of salt and of course the lentils, which have been rinsed and drained. I am using dry red lentils, by the way. And now we're gonna dump in our turmeric. So we are going to let that come back up to a boil, and then we're gonna cover this. All right, it's time to cover and let that cook for 10 to 15 minutes. We actually want to lower the flame a little. It's supposed to just simmer. So we're gonna give that 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so we've got about 8 minutes to go on the lentils, and I am not a very agile cook. So I'm gonna give myself those couple extra minutes that I probably need, and we are going to start working on the next step. So we're gonna heat up this pan. Woo. And now he says to use ghee or clarified butter or something like that. We don't have that, but the point is to have a high smoking temperature or smoking point. So I'm gonna use some avocado oil, just a little bit. Throw that in the pan. I don't wanna use a lot because avocado oil is expensive, but we need a lubricant. Now in his video, Ethan uses the cumin seeds, but like I mentioned, I don't have those. I have ground cumin, and when you're substituting ground cumin for cumin seeds, you just use half the amount. So if he used, I think he used like a teaspoon of cumin seeds, so we use half a teaspoon. Or he used a tablespoon and we're using half a tablespoon, something like that. But you use half the amount when you're substituting. So I've never really like cooked ground spices in oil before. That's probably why he used the seeds. So we're definitely not gonna give this too long by itself. Let's add the next thing, which is onions. Alrighty. And we're gonna wanna let these saute a little bit. He mentions that they should start to basically brown just a little bit before we add in our crushed tomatoes. So I will start browning these and then I'll come back. Okay, so I feel like we've gotten the color we're looking for, so now we're gonna add in our crushed tomato. And as you can see, the pan seems to get a little bit angry, so I am lowering the heat. I lowered it already. And we're gonna just let this cook for, I think he said like 20 seconds. So very quickly, just to heat it up basically. So this is what we're looking at, and that looks pretty good to me. So now the last step is just to add this into the lentils and start. Here we go. Now the recipe doesn't say to do this, but I am going to add a few cracks of black pepper. I have heard people say that black pepper activates the turmeric. I don't really know how true that is, or if the turmeric just maybe like doesn't work as far as the health benefits. If you don't add black pepper, I have no idea, but we're just gonna add a tiny bit. Done. Okay, we're back. So I do not really know how to plate. This kind of looks like baby food, but don't judge it by its appearance alone, okay? So it is piping hot, but I think it's ready to eat. I let it sit for about 5 minutes. So let's try it out. Ooh. I think I could maybe use a little bit more salt. I don't usually like to salt my food that much, but it's a little tame. That's probably because in the original recipe he uses those spicy peppers, so I'm sure if I made this and stuck to everything he said, it would have a bit more flavor, but it's not bad at all. I'll definitely eat it. I like the taste of the turmeric. It's like a comforting kind of food. It feels kind of like something you could dress up, like I feel like you could maybe have it with some hummus on the side, which is probably what I'm gonna do because I made another batch of hummus last night. If you haven't seen my hummus video, I will also link that below for you because that was really good. But this is tasty, and I really like having lentils around because I think think they have a decent amount of protein, and they're also a good source of iron. So thank you, Ethan, for the recipe. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe and turn on all notifications if you haven't already. And leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. And lastly, share this video. Either text it to someone, post it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, wherever you use social media. I would love for you to share the video so that more people can find out about the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.